What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang from wagertalk.com and themoneyballer.com. As you can see, I got my guy here, Munaf, here with me today. Man, I just got home from my son's AAU basketball game,
Mhm.
and I was like, I want to do a show. So,
Alright.
but I gotta head out at like 11:40 ish. So, oh, sorry, 12:40. So, I kind of just want to go through one of the WNBA games real quick, and then see if we can catch some MLB plays because I know yesterday we didn't have a lot of time to get over a lot of go through a lot of games, but yesterday solid day, solid bounce back day, 3-1 in the W, half point away from a 4-0 day in the W, and then MLB I was 1-1. But you texted me afterwards, Munaf, about the Royals. It
Yeah.
was Royals, right? Yeah, Royals. And I was
Yeah,
like, damn, I don't know how I missed it, but it was a 7 on the matchup rating, and I was like, shit, I'm about to run it right now.
yeah.
That one ended up winning pretty easily. So we got another 7 today, actually. So hopefully
Yeah.
we catch that one again. And I see Chappie Funk, first day of using the money baller. So far, loving it. Hopefully we you cash today. What up, Chris? Let's do. So someone mentioned. I put it on Twitter. Someone mentioned the links. Sorry, no. Yeah, links and fever. I
Links
think it was.
fever, yeah.
Yeah, links fever on Twitter. So we'll go over that one real quick, and then we'll head over to MLB. I'll share my screen. All right, Lynx and Fever. So this is actually the game I didn't have a bet on, but I kind of want to get there in the first half, specifically the first half. But so we have the Fever. Let me zoom in a little bit more. We have the Fever visiting the Lynx. Lynx, I think it's actually 4.5 right now. Let me just double check real quick. Uh, did I skip it? WNBA. Damn, the odds page is crazy with all the college football stuff now. 4. So it's at 4 at circa. We're still seeing some 4.5s everywhere else. So it's moving towards Indiana, and I totally get it. There's a couple things, right? The back to back, and also Courtney Williams was injured yesterday, so she might not play. She's probably not going to play, to be honest, just because of how important she is to this playoff run for them. So they'll probably rest her. And then the total's at 167, 167 and a half. We're seeing some 168. So a lot of people are looking towards the over, and I agree with that as well. All right, so let's go to the moneyballer.com. So we see some baller systems backing both teams here. Also that over. So our baller system does agree with the line movement to the over. You can see the schedule here, the links off that game yesterday. Great game against the Aces. We got that one correct in the first half. We had the links plus 1.5 and the under. And then you can see the Fever. This is only their third game since the Olympic break, so they've
Mhm.
had a lot of rest going into this game here. About 5-6 days rest right there. Historical matchup. You can see both. Sorry, yet last only matchup once so far this season went under, and the Fever actually won the game outright the first time around, 7-14. I wonder if Fee played that game. Fee was missing. So that was one of the games that she was out,
Mm.
and that impacted their offense a lot. So definitely a revenge angle here to look at. If we look at last 10 games here for the stats, you can see the Fever's offense has been really great. Lynx offense is towards the bottom of the league, but that includes Fee not in the game for a majority of the last 10 games. So that's one thing that Chris pointed out in the last show. Defensive rating. This is going to be interesting just because I know coming out the break, if I'm not mistaken, their defense, Fever defense, really picked it up. But obviously, it's just a small 2-game sample size here. And then, with Courtney Williams off the court, I think Heidemann is less of a defensive player, or she's less physical, but she is a more of an offensive player. So she likes to shoot the three ball. She likes to penetrate and dish, and that's going to really help push to the over here on the full game. And then if we look towards the 4 factors, you can see offensive rebounds definitely on the Fever side here, but turnover rate forced definitely on the Link side. Fever from a scoring perspective, you can see they're giving it up a lot just because of pace of play and also like the defense or just the style of play that they run with, it's always going to have a lot of points, whether it's on offense or defense. Lynx, this is affected by Fee not playing the last 10 games, obviously, but defense, this one should be. I mean, they're one of the better defensive teams in the league. They're very deep. They brought in Hines Allen from the Mystics. That's going to help with their physicality and rebounding and all that stuff too. So, I think even without Courtney Williams, this defense is going to be pretty solid today. It's just the pace of play and the back to back that kind of, to me, feels like they might let down just a tad bit, just enough to get over on the full game. Within the arc here, you can see a Fever. They're gonna live in there. A lot of paint attempts. Mid range, not too much for the Fever, but the Lynx definitely there. Courtney Williams was a lot of this mid range. So that's gonna come down just a tad bit. So they're probably gonna rely on the three ball a lot, especially with Heidemann there playing the majority of the point guard minutes, and then being able to spread the court a little bit too. So obviously 3-pointers, I just talked about that. That's going to be an advantage for the Lynx here. And if we look at the straight up records, obviously 7-3 straight up full game. First half, Fever struggle in the first half, especially on the road here, 0-4-1. ATS wise, 1-4 ATS on the road. You can see at home they struggle. The Lynx struggle in this spot too, though. 1-4 ATS is a home favorite in the first half and the full game, and most of that is just because they're when they're at home they're heavily favored. This is where things get a little bit interesting, right? Because the pace of play, the type of offense both teams play, it really leans towards the over. But a lot of the trends in the last 10 games are pointing towards the under, especially in the first half right here. So 1-3, 3-1 to the under in the first half, 4-0 to the under full game for them. But you can see here the Lynx, they tend to pick up their offense in the second half. 5-0 to the under in the first half, 3-2 to the under in the full game. And then a lot. So I mentioned here, right? Under in the first half, then the offense picks up in the second half. Look at what happens with the Fever's team total. They struggle in the first half, 8-2 to their team total under, and then 7-3 to the over as well. So even if this game does stay under in the first half, offense is going to pick up, pace is going to pick up in the second half, and that's kind of the way that I was looking at this game from a game flow perspective. Slow pace first half, and then pick it up in the second half for the Fever, especially if the Lynx can cover in that first half with how bad the Fever are offensively. I could see the Fever really pushing the pace, and the Lynx getting tired on the second leg of back-to-back games. So game flow wise, slow pace first half, pick it up in the second half with the Fever really pushing it to try and catch up and cover the spread there. So the ways that I was looking at this one was actually the Lynx in the first half to take advantage of how the Fever struggle in the first half, and then avoid the second half, kind of second half like fatigue that the Lynx will have to go through. So yeah, that's the way that I would go here. If anything specifically, if you guys have the Fever's first half team total under available at your book, that would probably be my top look. But I don't have it available, so I wouldn't. I mean, it's not like I could give that out to clients or anything if I didn't bet it. So if I had that available at my books, that would be my play though. Fever first half team total under. But I ended up just taking the Lynx first half. All right. So with that said, let's go over to the MLB. I know some people in the chat on Twitter called out some games here.
A couple of things, RC, just to go back to WNBA. Just did some digging. League-wide trend this season in the WNBA, teams just on a back-to-back, 14-6 towards the over in that second leg. And then if they won their previous game and they're on a back-to-back, they're 12-2 to the over. So it applies both today to the Sun and the Lynx.
Got you. Okay, so rest equals 0, 14-6 to the over.
Yeah.
And you said if they won the previous game?
Yeah, and previous win.
12-2 to the over. I love it. And that's both. Yeah, you mentioned both games. So Sun Liberty. Damn, I kind of like the under in this one though. Just because
that one's low for a reason too.
Yeah, style of play. If you look at the matchups with both of these teams, they tend to stay to the under.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of a matchup type thing versus anything else. It's just how they play against each other. Um, but I could definitely see this one going over. I just want to see and so if it's the road team, they tend to not cover either. So that would point towards the Liberty here. I was kind of looking at that first game. Okay. And if they're at home, look the other way, 4-0 to the over for the Lynx Fever. This is another interesting thing too. Look at that big rest advantage right there.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of looked at that, and so we go rest is greater than or equal to 5, and O rest equals 0. Huge rest advantage there. It's only one game sample size. That also went to the over, and look who it was. It's the Fever, right? So
Flew over.
yeah, it flew over. So full game over. I still think that the first half under is the way to go, though. In my opinion, because the one thing that to look at here, this was off the Olympic break, right?
Yeah.
Mercury. It was the first game back for the Fever versus Mercury coming back on a back to back. So let's actually look at that throughout historically. So 9-6 ATS, 8-6-1 to the over.
Would you just take a second half over then for the Lynx
Man,
game?
if you, yeah, I would. I mean, that would be. To be honest, if it goes under in the first half, I would probably take the over in the second half because that goes exactly with how the game flow was expected to go, in my opinion. So that would definitely be the way to go. Fever second half and Fever Lynx over second half. That would probably be the best way to go there.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, let's go to the MLB. All right, let's see. I think someone mentioned a couple games on Twitter too. Is there anything that you wanted to go over real quick while I'm looking?
I actually have a couple of plays already locked in.
Okay. What you got?
I mean, already the Yankees game already started. We could obviously not talk about that.
Yeah.
If you want to go Astros, Orioles, I like the under in that game. I know we'll get to Giants, Mariners because that's a 7 rating in there.
Yeah.
And then I do like the Phillies and Royals over as well.
Do you have anything on Brewers or Red Sox game? Those are a couple games that people pointed
Red
out.
Sox first 5 over. I do like.
Okay, let's go to that one real quick because someone mentioned that one on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to the Brewers and Giants. Those were 3 called out on Twitter, and then we'll go over some of your plays too that you like. All right, so real quick, Diamondbacks, Red Sox. We have pretty even matchup here, -110. 9.5 is the total. Zach Gallen versus Crawford. I'm gonna try to rush through this because I don't have a lot of time, but I want to get through as many games as possible. Diamondbacks with a +2 on the rating system here. Schedule wise, dang, D-backs offense is crazy last few games. So 12, 10, they got 9 and 7 here. Obviously, they struggle against Cabrera right there, but other than that, their offense is pretty solid. Definitely more consistent than the Red Sox at this point. But I know, I mean, when we were capping these games, last 30 days for Red Sox was good, pretty solid from an offensive perspective. Like a week ago. Last 5 for Gallen, giving up 4-1. So he's kind of going back and forth, strong start and then struggling or whatever it might be. But no home runs given up, so at least he's doing well there. Some control issues. Crawford, he's consistently giving it up. I mean, look at all the number of home runs per game, per start. He's definitely struggling there. All right, so let's look at splits by starter. Gallen 12 and 9. Road dog situation here, 2-0 straight up first 5 and full game. Cutter Crawford 5-2 and 1 as a home favorite in the first 5, 3 and 5 full game, 9 and 16 overall in the full game. Totals 17, 7 and 1 in the first 5 for Cutter Crawford. I mean, he's just giving up runs at that point. The first thing that comes to mind is just D-backs team total over. First 5. All right, so let's look at this here versus right-handed pitchers. I mean, both pretty solid. 43, 30, and 12 in the first 5, 52, 33 full game for the D-backs. Red Sox here, 48, 30, and 12 in the first 5. Look at this, 20, 70, and 4 home favorite in the first 5 money line. So that kind of shifts my focus and just maybe thinking about over in general.
Yeah.
In the first 5. All right, so then over unders by versus right-handed pitchers. Overall, nothing really significant. But when you go to the splits here, you can see some slightly pointing towards the under here, 20, 14, and 1. Let's go to 30 days. Oh, here goes the overs, pointing towards the over there. Gallon in the first 5, the opposite of what we saw in the full season. 1, 3, and 1 in the first 5. I mean, Red Sox first 5 as home favorites, definitely a spot here. 6, 1, and 1. Overs on the full game. So Diamondbacks versus right-handed pitchers, 12, 4, and 1 in the last 30, 14, 5, and 1 in the last 30 for the Red Sox. And then if you look at their splits, home favorite and road dog to the over as well. Yerfees, if you guys are into that, those are pointed out right here. 4-1 for both Crawford and Gallen in their last 5 starts. Offenses, man, these both of these offenses look really good right now. One thing that the Red Sox are struggling with is strikeouts, but look at Gallen. He's not a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, especially on the road. He struggles on the road. Like his home and road splits are, it's a night and day difference.
That's a good point there. And we're already working on the home road splits for the stats too, so
yeah,
that's going to be on its way. But I mean, just over just seems like the spot here. Even with the Red Sox bullpen, well, Diamondbacks bullpen is pretty solid, but if you include the Red Sox bullpen here, and we know Crawford doesn't really get past the 5-inning mark, we are probably going to see them too pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
Would you key in on like I mean, what's the line? It would be D-backs or D-backs team total over.
I keyed in on the first 5 over, and then if you want to take first 5 team total over for D-backs, I couldn't talk you off of that one, RC.
Gotcha. You said first 5 over specifically?
Yes, first 5 over specifically, and then Diamondbacks team total. If you want to go full game, D-backs team total over, or even first 5, I think both can get there.
Both can get there, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Because I mean, for me, if I was to bet this one, I would definitely want to take advantage of the bullpen situation too. So from a side perspective, definitely to the D-backs here. I'm wondering why they're like I would expect the line to be shaded way more to the D-back side. Any thoughts on why the line is where it's at right now instead of more heavily favored towards the D-backs?
I think it could be just a concern of Zach Gallen on the road.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you want to look at his
we could do that.
His splits there, I think that's really what the difference is. The ERA is like 1.5 higher on the road than it is at home.
On the road, starters runs allowed 2.5. At home, 2.18. So slightly worse on the road. So if we go to the records, I mean, it's hard to tell. It doesn't seem like it is that significant, but maybe it's just like recent form or something.
Let's see. So he started against the Rays. His last start, he gave up 4 earned runs on the road. He went to the Cleveland back on August 5th.
Yeah.
7 innings, gave up 5 earned runs.
All right, so look at this right here. All right, so we have I sorted it by line right here, and then anything under this minus 120, pretty much just going over.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything above that, where they're favored more heavily, it goes to the under.
The total is 9.5.
Mm-hmm. 9.5. So it's really definitely shaded. All right, so look at that now. So the top totals are going to the over as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be over or nothing. Yeah. What would the team total be at this number?
2.5. Full game?
Yeah, for the full game for the D-backs.
Let me see. MLB.
It's not
5.5. No. D-backs. 4.5 minus 135. Actually, for both sides.
4.5. So I would look towards the team total over, dude, because like
Yeah.
Look at these numbers right here. 6, 7, 9, 5. To me, it makes a lot of sense.
You would get a plus 120 for the first 5 at 2.5.
Oh, 2.5. Damn, it's like right there in the
Yeah.
first 5, so it's pretty tight. All right, so with this one, I would probably just do team total over on the D-backs here. Did you actually take anything on this one or not?
I did play first 5 over 5.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, over 5. Yeah, that makes sense to me too. All right, let's move on to the next one, which was the Giants. Let's get through that one first, since it was, I think it's the top play over on the Moneyballer. All right, so the moneyballer.com, the Giants slight road favorites here, minus 104 for the Mariners at home, 6.5 total. Snell versus Kirby, lefty versus righty. You can see the advantage here for the Giants at +7 in the ratings in the MLB rating matchup, and then mainly right there the starting pitcher 4-0. Unders though, baller system pointing towards the under there. From a schedule perspective, Giants did have rest prior to that game 1, 6-5. I think they gave it up. What inning was that where they gave it? It went extra innings, right?
Which
Yesterday?
one?
This game went extra innings yesterday.
For the Mariners and Giants,
Yeah, they won.
Mariners came back. They were
Fun.
down 5-1.
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, so then if you look at the starting pitcher matchup, just how consistent Snell has been it's kind of crazy. You can see obviously the strikeouts right there. He's hitting at a high rate. Kirby has been overall been pretty solid, except for obviously the last 3 starts here, giving up 6 home runs in the last 3 starts.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Full season numbers. This doesn't really tell a full story because most of his recent form has been way better than what his record shows. Versus left-handed pitchers for the Mariners, first 5, 18, 13, and 4 overall, but nothing significant here from a home dog perspective. 3-0-1 as home dogs versus left-handed pitchers in the full game. Giants here struggles typically in the first 5. So let's pull in last 30 days. All right, so you can see Snell there. Record's definitely a lot better than what we see in the full game. Full season. Overs for Kirby, unders for Snell versus left-handed pitchers. Not seeing them often in the last 30 days. 4-3, and versus right-handed pitchers, 9-6 on the full game. Just 1-1 as road favorites. So overs here for the Mariners versus left-handed pitchers, 5-2 to the over. Opposites on the Yerfy Nerfy here. Snell 0-4. 4-0 to the Nerfy, and then Kirby 5-0 to the Yerfy. Snell run lines 4-0. Let's put batting matchup. So I know the Mariners average a little bit more, but one thing that I look at in this one here is the K rates. Both teams really struggling from striking out, right? And average wise, obviously the Giants have the advantage there. I think they're just getting kind of good opportunities, right? Getting runs at the right time, or like getting base runners at the right time to get to that 4.8 runs mark. Just because I'm looking at average, I mean they're not getting on the base that much at all. So it's really just the walks or whatever it might be, but for the most part, Snell K rate up there, walks is down towards the bottom. Doesn't give up a ton of home runs either. So to me, the matchup against Snell is I just feel like the Mariners are going to struggle. And if you look at the numbers here for the last 30 days, ERA, FIP, XFIP is very consistent, right? And then you look at Kirby's side and the bullpen. I just feel like the Giants should be able to get to both of these, both the starting pitcher and the bullpen. And Giants K rate is pretty solid as well off of the bullpen too. So a lot of things really pointing to me, Mariners team total under or the Giants on the money line here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I played Giants money line for a lot of reasons that you did mention, and just puts it over the top that the Moneyballer had it as a 7 rating, like we saw with the Royals yesterday, and that was an easy win. Just going back to your point that you made about the K rate for Seattle, RC, over the last 2 weeks against left-handed pitching, Seattle is striking out the third most in the entire league, only behind Detroit and Pittsburgh. They're striking out as team percentage 32.3. So if you're a player prop better, strikeout better for pitchers, the number's 8.5 right now for Snell. I think he gets into double digits, but I think this could be another game where he walks into 11, 12, 13
Dang,
strikeouts,
8.5.
honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, take a look at his game log, RC. Like, he's been in double digits in 4 of his last 5 starts. He had 15 against the Rockies.
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, to me, 8.5 almost seemed like, I wouldn't say easy, but I mean, because when I was seeing this, I saw all the double digit K numbers. I would have thought it would be like 9.5, to be honest, especially with how bad the Mariners are as far as like striking out their K rate. So I was actually surprised that it was 8.5 because I thought it would be a little bit higher. But I mean, I get it though. Definitely see if he goes 7 innings.
Yeah,
I could definitely see him getting up and over that number.
And then at the same time, the Giants are striking out the second most as a team against right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks as well. So this could be one of those ugly games. Yeah, like under 6.5 for a reason. I wouldn't be surprised if you see like a 2-1, 3-1, 3-0 type of victory for the Giants.
Yeah, no, I believe it. All right, so one more that was mentioned on Twitter. We got the Brewers and the A's here. So A's slight home dogs, 8.5 is the total. Rhea versus Boyle. Rating system does like the Brewers here slightly, a +2 in the matchup rating. I think that might actually be on point with where the line is right now. Schedule wise, so I mean, Brewers 11-3 yesterday. Man, I feel like A's offense was really solid for a solid like a month and a half, and then it just came crashing down again. Rhea right here, man, other than this start right here, pretty solid in my opinion. Even though he gave up 2 home runs here against the Braves, but other than that, he's been pretty solid. Boyle had a good start here against the Rays. Gave up 2 straight starts where 4 runs or more. Definitely has some control issues. 3.4 walks average in the last 5 starts. All right, so let's look at a full season. Reyes 16-6 on the full games, 11-7-4 in the first 5. Overs here for Boyle in his starts. And A's versus right-handed pitchers struggling here, 36.6%, 34, 59-7 in the first 5. But look at this first 5 here for the Brewers versus right-handed pitchers, especially as road favorites. 4-9-2 in the first 5. Home dogs here for the A's, not great, but a little bit better, 16-23-2. Unders in their splits right here, slightly, maybe just because this definitely is the opposite of what we're seeing in the overall. So maybe just this situation is the only under road favorite situation. So let's go to 30 days. 3-1 for Rhea, 2-0 actually for Boyle in his last 2 starts. Unders here for the A's, overs for the Brewers. First 5 a little bit better for the Brewers here, 10-4-4 in the last 30 days versus right-handed pitchers, 13-5 full game. A's versus right-handed pitchers, 5-9-3 in the first 5. So right now, I would look towards Brewers first 5 probably. And then so let's look at the stats here. Offense definitely to the Brewers side in the last 30 days. Man, there was a point where A's was all green. This is crazy how it just flips like that.
It was like in the month of July.
And it was just one whole month. They were just like killing it. So crazy. All right, so pitching matchup. So Rhea, I mean, I would think this is actually a pretty even matchup based on this numbers here. Rhea has given up home runs at a pretty high rate. Both decent strikeouts, but it's the control issues here for Boyle, and the fact that he hasn't given up home runs with bad control. There's probably room for negative regression, in my opinion. And Brewers only 31 home runs, but I mean, their ISO, they do have power. Their hard hit rate is higher than half of the league. So I would think that there's a possibility that Boyle gives up home runs today, home run or home runs. Um, bullpen, the A's bullpen is pretty solid though. They're actually really solid. So I would probably key in on this first 5 here. And man, Reyes negative regression too on in his starts. So I actually would think an over in the first 5.
The lines come down from 8 to the total from 8 to 7.5. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are
but
you?
the first five is still at 4. A little bit of juice towards the over.
Mm-hmm.
I was leaning to the under, but I mean, I didn't love it. It wasn't anything that I was going to play, but
yeah,
just on surface, that's when I was just kind of going through the numbers in the pitching.
Well, because if you look at the bullpen, I could see why they would say under full game, but first 5, it just definitely seems like both of these guys can give up runs here.
Yeah.
As far as like just seeing where the negative regression lies,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fact that he has a lot of control issues. They're great at taking walks, getting on base. It just seems like Boyle will get hit up here. Dang. Okay, well, if I was to bet this one, it would probably be Brewers first 5 or just the over first 5 in general, because there is some room for negative regression for Rhea as well.
Yeah, couldn't talk you off.
All right, so let's go to. I think that was it from Twitter. So, your game. I know you mentioned some bets that you had. Let's go to that real quick. Which one were you looking at?
Yeah, we talked about the Red Sox first 5 over already.
Yeah.
Talked about the Giants already. I'm looking towards to get to the over between the Phillies and the Royals.
Phillies Royals. Gotcha.
Yeah. Brady Singer, and I think it's Ranger Suarez. He's coming off the IL.
Oh, I mean, just based off this information and just me seeing this 3 right here, would you just look towards
Royals team total?
The Royals team total?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay,
there's a lot of wind blowing out too. I think it's like 14 miles per hour to center.
Gotcha. Okay, I like that. Let's break it down real quick. So Phillies, slight road favorites here. Total at 9. We got Suarez versus Singer. Matchup rating with a +2 for the Royals. We got yesterday 7-4 for the Royals, so they got up and over their team total yesterday. I mean, they got 5 here, 5 here. So their offense has been clicking pretty much for at least a couple weeks here. Suarez, you mentioned his layoff. This is his first start since the 22nd. He was giving up runs consistently too prior to his layoff. Let's look at Singer. Coming off a really good start there. Struggled against the Twins, gave up 2 home runs. What else is there? I mean, both of them pretty similar as far as like walks per game. Let's look at full season trends. 12-7-2 first 5 for Suarez, 14-7. I mean, to me, I feel like it's primarily the Phillies offense that really helps them out here. So if you look at the totals, 14-4-1 to the over in the first 5, 6-0-1 to the over as road favorites in the first 5, but then that bullpen or something happens where they end up going under on the full game. That's pretty interesting to me. Splits by versus right-handed and left-handed pitchers. Royals don't see left-handed pitchers often at all. 12-10-3 only on the season in the first 5. If you look at Phillies versus right-handed pitchers, that home favorite spot is definitely profitable for them, or at home in general. But on the road, just 9-8-4 as road favorites in the first 5 there. So they actually struggle a bit more there. Totals, full game unders maybe 13-8 to the under there, 3-1 to the under as home dogs, and we see Suarez here towards the under. Let's look at last 30. So that 22nd still falls within that 30 days. 3-1-1 first 5, 3-2 full game. Overs for Singer. 3-1-1 in the full game. Man, look at that. Look at this number here versus right-handed pitchers in the last 30 days. Total opposite of what we saw full season. 5-12-1 in the first 5, 4-14 on the full game. Overs full game here for the Royals 6-0-1, 11-7 to the over full game for the Phillies, but as road favorites 3-1 to the under. Let's go to bats. Both offenses pretty decent. Royals have the edge though. They have 5.9 runs per game, and you can see a lot of their advanced numbers kind of pointing in the direction of just overall hitting a lot better than majority of the league.
Yep.
Not walking at a high rate, but I mean neither team is really. They don't strike out a lot, so it seems like. And then Suarez is not. Well, that's only one start. What's his full season? He's not really a strikeout pitcher, is he?
Who is?
Suarez. Oh, he is actually. So decent strikeout rate, but the Royals don't strike out at a high rate.
I think this is his first game back. I want to say, and I don't know how long for Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, so it falls within the last 30 days. It was on the 22nd, so it's probably exactly 30 days actually.
Yeah.
Singer's numbers, the no negative or positive regression in my opinion. It looks pretty consistent. Their bullpens are, I would say, evenly matched too. It almost seems like. Would you just focus in on the first, from a side perspective? Would you focus in on Royals' first 5?
I think it would be Royals' first 5 money line, and then Royals. If you want to go full game team total or first 5 team total.
Yeah.
Their first 5 team total, you could get 2.5 at plus odds.
Gotcha. I mean, this one right here is versus left-handed pitcher, 6-0-1 to the full game over. It wants me to look towards the over on the full game versus the first 5.
Yeah.
But I definitely see your point with fading Ranger Suarez in his first start. And then their offense is really solid. Just 2.5, you said?
First 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me double check because it just went off my screen. Team totals. Why is it not there anymore? I saw 2.5 at plus money for the Royals.
All right, and then we'll say A. What's the first 5 over in general?
5.
Okay. Because Suarez on the road this season, it's 5.4 runs in the first 5.
5 minus 120. I think I would just take the first 5 over.
Yeah, I think so too.
And full game, I couldn't talk you off of that either.
First 5 over. It's at 9.5 too. All right, hold on. Let's look at.
Yeah.
So let's look at these higher totals. 9. Dang. So look at that. This is what I was talking about. That first 5 over versus the under on the full game. It's kind of weird because it's not like their bullpen isn't that great, right? It seems like they give up runs too. So it's just interesting to see those types of numbers. Overs in the first 5, unders in the full game. I wonder why there must be a push here or something. I kind of want to just key in on that first 5 over instead of the full game now. Just thinking about it.
First 5 over 5?
Yeah, first 5 over 5. That makes the most sense to me. Let's look at Singer real quick. Brady. And let's look at higher totals. Yeah, 4, 6, and 1. Total, and then we'll say at home. 2.75, 4. That's 4.5, right? 4.5 right there. Man, that's tight for his side. I would look at first 5 over. Just kind of fading Suarez in that first 5 in his first start back. Did you actually take that or?
I took for full game over 9.5. Um, I'm thinking about just doubling up or splitting another
Putting
half
it.
a unit on
Yeah.
first 5.
Yeah. First 5. All right. Is there? Let me see. What time is it? I got time for one more game. Is there one that you wanted to go through?
That's all I had, honestly. I
Oh,
don't know
you
if you
had.
want to go through another one.
I went through the one that I wanted to. Did anyone say anything in the chat?
I think they mentioned. Did we already go through Astros?
I
Astros Orioles.
see. No, no, no. But you did mention something about it.
I think I said under.
Under. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at that. So Astros, slight road favorites here. Totals at 8.5. We got Valdez versus Suarez, lefty versus righty. Starting pitcher advantage to the Astros. That's big enough to give them a +1 on the rating system. We do have a baller system on the Astros, so that backs them there on the side from a side perspective. Rubber. Oh no, it's not rubber match. So they're split so far. Houston Astros won the first matchup. Orioles won yesterday. Let's look at last 5. I mean, Valdez been pretty solid.
He's
Other than
back
this
in
one,
form.
yeah. Other than this start right here, where he gave up four earned runs. I mean, he's been pretty solid there. Suarez, he's been strong too. The last 3 starts, hasn't given up
Mm-hmm.
an earned run in 3 straight starts. What were you looking at initially on this one?
Under.
Under. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so if we look at full season numbers, Valdez 15-7 on the full game. There's all the unders, all the under trends right there. Valdez on the full game 14-6-2 to the under, 7-0-1 as road favorite specifically. Suarez first 5 and full game unders. Orioles versus left-handed pitchers, home dogs. That's their spot right there. 3-0 for first 5 and full game. Astros as road favorites, 13-8 on the full game. More unders here for the team trends as well. Astros versus right-handed pitchers as road favorites, 15-5 to the under. First 5 unders versus left-handed pitchers for the Orioles, 22-12-2 to the under. Yeah, everything kind of pointing towards the under right now. So let's go to last 30 days. More unders. Valdez actually 5-0 straight up they're 5-0 in their starts and his starts last 30 days. Road favorites 5-0 for the Astros. Unders still big for the Astros versus right-handed pitchers. So off of trends alone, it would be Astros and under. For
Jordan is
now.
out. Jordan is out of the lineup today as well.
Oh, that's big. I mean, so that definitely helps the under, but doesn't help the side. Let's look at last 30 off bats. I mean, Orioles have the edge there. Almost a full run ahead. I mean, average is pretty similar. Both teams have pretty solid like power numbers. I think they're pretty even here. And then we go to the matching pitch up matchup. It looks like both guys are pretty consistent here. Maybe slight negative regression for Suarez. Neither team giving up home runs at a high rate, or neither starter is. Bullpen's where they give it up though. It seems like Astros negative regression there. Orioles struggling from the bullpen perspective as well, giving up a lot of home runs. Would you key in on the first 5 under?
I played first 5 under 4.5.
4.5. Okay, solid. That makes sense to me. From a side perspective, would you still look towards Astros without Jordan?
Yeah, especially in the first 5. I mean, we've been talking about over the past month or so that Astros first 5 has just been really, really profitable for us. It got to the window again yesterday, even when I think they gave up a run early, but they were able to come back. You take a look right now; it's minus 125 on the money line for the first 5 for the Astros.
Yeah,
full games at minus 103 for the money line for the Astros. So that kind of tells you what the books are also thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me it would be first five under. Kind of stay away from the bullpen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we saw yesterday was a prime example. The Astros gave up a grand slam in I think it was the bottom of the eighth.
It's crazy.
And they
It's
took
crazy
the
how
lead.
that stuff like that works, though. It's just, I mean, how the game flows work, especially in MLB. Like
Yeah.
any one inning can just turn things around real quickly. All right, so that's the last game to go through here. Let's go through the top looks real quick. Before we go to top looks, let's make sure we talk about the moneyballer.com, the site we used today primarily on the show to break down the games. You saw trend stats, advanced analytics, some models, our rating system, our proprietary rating system, and all that stuff too. If you guys sign up and need help, just hit us up on our Discord, our free Discord, themoneyballer.com/discord, and we can help as much as possible. And if you, for some reason, don't want to go to our Discord, just DM me on Twitter. I'll help you as much as I can to figure out how to use the site. But we go through it every day or almost every day on the show. So to help you understand how I use it personally. Um, so make sure you guys check out themoneyballer.com. Obviously, a lot of people have been giving us a lot of feedback, and we are also taking other people's feedbacks to add more features to it. So we're working on all these other features to add. With that said, let's go to the top looks. Minaf, let's start with you first.
Yeah, I think the game that we just talked about, first five under 4.5 for the Astros and Orioles. I love the Giants money line today as well. We broke it down.
Yeah.
I just don't trust that Mariners offense. I mean, we saw it yesterday for about 7-8 innings. They just weren't able to produce much offense until that bullpen came in. And
Yeah.
Mariners are striking out at a very, very high rate against left-handed pitching. I see Blake Snell probably goes out there and has another gem. And then first five over in the D-backs and the Red Sox game.
I like it. All right. So for me, the one in the W that we talked about was the Fever and the Lynx. I want to take the Lynx in the first half. I think that would be the best one that we talked about today. I do also, second half projection, it would be Fever and over. If you guys want to kind of go through like as far as like game flow wise, and then for MLB, I would say the one that I did take, which was the Giants today. I took the Giants on the money line. So those would be the top looks for today's show for me. With that said, Munaf, do you do your weekend shows or not, or just weekdays?
We do. We'll have one tomorrow on Sunday around 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern time for the Monday game. So if you want to get ahead for MLB, you can tune in at that time.
All right, cool. And then I'm not sure I'm gonna have a show tomorrow, but if I do, I'll hit you up, Munaf, see if you're available. With that said, that's the end of the show. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, especially if you like what you see and hear how we break down our games. Yesterday we did pretty well in my opinion, both MLB and WNBA. And after the show is done, if you guys can just leave a comment, top plays, top looks, what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show, who you want to see on the show. Any of that stuff actually helps with the algos to help the show grow. And I want to be able to reach out to more people and grow that way. So if you can, just definitely leave a comment, hit the like button as well. And always, I have to end with this. Remember, whether you fade or follow, it's on you to make that call. Good luck with all your actions. Till next time, peace.